Hi, sixth graders. We're on lesson 5-7. So turn to the next open page in your notebook and label the top appropriately with 5-7, dividing fractions and mixed numbers. And it starts on page 265. The learning target is being able to divide by fractions and mixed numbers. So remember, you just need to label the top of your page with this right here, all of this. Okay, so when we are dividing fractions, there's some steps that we need to follow, just like when we add and subtract and multiply. So they're all just a little bit different. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to write any mixed numbers as an improper fraction. So we need to convert. So just as a refresher, when we want to convert from a mixed number to an improper fraction, remember we take the denominator, multiply it by the whole number, and then add our our numerator. So 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11, and then we keep the denominator, so it's 11 halves. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Keep our denominator, 7 thirds. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2, so 17 thirds. Okay, so when we're given a division equation, we need to look if there's any mixed numbers, we change it to an improper fraction. So if I were you, I would write this in your notebook. So steps to dividing fractions, and then maybe pause me and write down all of these steps. And then as we go through them, you can add a couple notes to yourself that might make a little bit more sense to you. So our second step is to flip the second fraction and turn the division sign to a multiplication sign. So what does that mean? So if we have 4/7 divided by 8/9, we would keep our first fraction, so 4/7. We would change our division sign to multiplication, and then we would flip our second fraction. So I'm going to rewrite this so it's nice and neat. I'm not going to try to do it in my head because that gets a little bit too confusing. So I keep 4/7, I change my division to a multiplication, and then I flip my fraction. So 8/9 would be 9/8. Now, since we're pros at multiplying, we multiply our numerators and then multiply the denominators. So we have 36 56, and then we always need to write the answer in simplest form. So I know off the top of my head that 36 and 56 can both be divided by 2, so I'm going to start with that. Sometimes it's hard for us to think of a bigger factor, and that's okay. I just know that they're both even, so I'm just going to take that right now. So I have 18/26. 18 and 26 are both even, so I know that they both can be divided by 2 again. So we're going to have 9/13, because remember I'm dividing my numerator and denominator by 2. 9/13, 13 is prime, so it doesn't have any other factors to be divided by. So my answer then would be 9/13. Okay, let's look at another one. 9/7 divided by 3/14. So we keep our first fraction, change to multiplication, and then flip. So, whoops, 9/7. We never, ever, ever, ever flip the first number. Just like when we're subtracting integers, we always keep that first fraction the same. We change to multiplication, and then we flip. So 14/3. So we have 9 times 14. which equals 126. 7 times 3, which equals 21. And then I think in my head, and I know that 21 can be divisible by 7 and by 3. So I'm going to check to see if 126 can be divided by either one. And 126 can be divided by 7. So we're going to start with that. So sometimes we come across fractions with these really big numbers and then we struggle to find factors that we're able to divide by, to simplify by. And it helps if one of the numbers is a little bit smaller and you know all the factors offhand. So then you can just start using all of those numbers to help you figure out a number that can be divided by both. So 126 divided by 7 is 18. And then 21 divided by 7 is 3. And then I know that 18 divided by 3 equals 6. So our answer then is just going to be 6. So 126 divided by 21 would equal 6 as well. Okay, I would like you to pause me really fast and do 1/5 divided by 1/4 in your notebook and then come back and check your answer. So we have 1/5. We're going to change it to multiplication and then we're going to flip. So we have times 4 over 1. 1 times 4 is 4. And 5 times 1 is 5. So notice that we're starting with 1/5 and we're dividing by 1/4. So we're dividing by a fraction and we are actually getting a bigger fraction. So if we divide by a fraction less than 1, okay, if it was greater than 1 it would be a mixed number anyways, but a fraction less than 1, we actually get a bigger number. If we were to multiply and do 1/5 times 1/4, we would get 1/20, which is a lot smaller than 1/5. So the first number that we start with, that's the number that's being divided by whatever the second number is. So you can see there's a major difference between multiplying by 1/4 and dividing by 1/4. We get totally different fractions. One's less than, one's greater than. So something for you to think about. All right, if we have 6/11 divided by 2, so we don't have any mixed numbers, but we do have a whole number. And if you remember, the way to make a whole number a fraction is to put a 1 underneath it, because 2 over 1 is the same as 2. So I am going to rewrite this now as a multiplication problem. So I keep my first fraction, I change it to multiplication, and then I flip. So this only works with division. We don't ever flip if we're adding, subtracting, or multiplying fractions. We only keep, change, flip when we're dividing. Okay, 6 times 1 is 6. 11 times 2 is 22. 6 and 22 can both be divided by 2, so we have 3/11 would be our simplified answer. Okay, so if we have mixed numbers, the first thing that we need to do is convert it to an improper fraction. So 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17 over 4. Because we're dividing by a fraction, we change it to multiplication, and then we flip our second fraction only. So 17 times 8 is 136. And then 4 times 3 is 12. 136 divided by 12 is not a whole number, so now we have to think about other options that we can use to simplify this down. So we can go, I know that 2 and 3 and 4 and 6 all go into 12. So 136 divided by 6 does not give us a whole number. Divided by 4 gives us 34. So we're going to divide both our numerator and denominator by 4. So 136 divided by 4 is 34 thirds. I know that 3 goes into 34 11 times, because 11 times 3 is 33, which means we would have 1/3, or 1 from our numerator, left over, and then we keep the denominator. And we check it because 3 times 11 is 33, plus 1 is 34, 34 thirds. Okay, if we have 6 2/3 divided by 3 1/9. So we're going to convert it. So we have 6 times 3 is 18 plus 2 is 20 thirds. Oops, I'm going to keep it divided by just right now while I'm converting it. So 9 times 3 is 27 plus 1 is 28 ninths. So now I'm going to rewrite it. 20 thirds times 9 28. So we have 20 times 9 is 180. And then 28 times 3 is 84. I know that they can both be divided by 2, and I can quickly do that so that I know that 180 divided by 2 would be 90, and 84 divided by 2 would be 42. I know that 42 goes into 90 2 times, because 42 times 2 is 84. And then there would be 6 left over with 42 on the bottom. So 2 and 6/42 would be 2. Divide both our numerator and denominator by 6. So 2 and 1/7. Okay? I want you to pause me and try this one and this one, and then come back and check your answer. So we have -3/4 divided by 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1, so 3/2. And then I'm going to flip it, so -3/4. Keep my first fraction, flip to multiply, or sorry, change to multiply, and then flip the second fraction to 2/3. So you're kind of flipping the operation as well, so if you can think of it that way also. So -3 times 2 is -6 over 12, so -6/12 is also the same as -1/2. Very important to keep that negative sign in there. And then 5 divided by 1 1/3, so I'm going to rewrite 5 as 5/1. And then I'm going to rewrite 1 1/3 as 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1, so 4/3. Now I can rewrite 5/1. Oops, that's a 1. Times 3/4. That is a horrible 1. It looks like a P for some reason, but it's really 5/1. So then we have 15/4. 4 goes into 15 3 times, so 3 is our whole number. 3 times 4 is 12, so 15 minus 12 is 3. And then we keep the denominator, so we have 3 3/4. All right, make sure you log into NICU and take the 5-7 NICU quiz. Have a super evening, and I will see you tomorrow.